Hey everybody, Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, check out the new setup. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this new setup. I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say about it. But guys, this was another night of All-American. What a great ass episode. I still can't believe we only have one more episode left of All-American. It's crazy to even think that. Like, we only have one more episode left of season 4. And I just cannot process, like, we only have one more episode left. And things are really getting to the point where I think we're going to get really left off on either A, a cliffhanger, or B, something big's going to happen where it's like, what's going to happen for season 5? Like, I'm already thinking that we're going to get left off on the point where, like, we're going to be wanting more so much. I mean, hell, I already want more. I don't want it to end. We only have one more episode left. But this episode was called Murder Was the Case. And this is actually a Halloween episode, and I was shocked. Because I had to tell my sister, like, click guide, is All-American on tonight? Because I was really afraid that, like, oh my god, you're telling me, you can't, please don't tell me All-American's not on tonight. Because it was, like, some weird, creepy, like, beginning of the show to start the show off. And I was like, what the hell are we watching? And I was like, okay, it's All-American. I'm going to give it a second. Like, what's really happening right now? There's this girl named, her name is, I think, Tessa. At least that, because we were wondering who the girl was. And she ends up opening up the fridge and ends up being a head. And we end up finding out the head was made of bruschetta. It's like the different like tray of meats and stuff. And apparently it's Halloween. JJ made it for his big Halloween party that he's going to be doing, or that I think he's done every year. But he wants to throw a Halloween party. And the girl that was there, the Tessa girl, is apparently a girl that Jordan's been sleeping with after his breakup with Simone. And of course, Jordan goes down the route of Playboy Jordan. That's always what he likes to do when it seems to be when he was just playing the field. Or, I guess after a big breakup, he's going to go back to him being a Playboy like he always used to be. And I was like, wow, this really just brings him back down. It's like every time we see the character progress, he starts to, fall down the steps and starts to unprogress. And I was like, damn, man, I'm like, you're really gonna do this shit again. It's not funny, it's not cute. And he didn't even remember the girl's name. He thought her name was something else, but her name's like Tess or whatever. And I forget what the other girl's name was that we end up finding out later in the episode that ends up being her roommate that he ends up bringing because Tess wasn't home. And it's not funny, it's not cute that Jordan does this shit, especially because we know what he's doing. I knew what he was doing. He wants to pretend that his feelings aren't, that he's not hurt, that his feelings aren't hurt after his breakup with Simone, and that, he's strong, and that, it wasn't a big deal that he broke up with Simone when that's not the case. And it's just so weird seeing the two different thing of, like, how he's willing to even jump back in to just sleeping with other girls, like, for fun, like he likes doing. But yeah, and we saw what Simone was like in the latest episode of All-American Homecoming. She was like, she put all of her emotions into training for tennis. And it's so weird seeing how the different routes they choose after their breakup, like what people choose, like for their grief. And like after a big breakup, and it was just funny to me that of course he went to the way of just sleeping with somebody else, which is a whole bunch of random girls again. And, of course, still, I'm sorry. JJ's like, oh, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, like, I did this for my big Halloween party that I'm having. And, of course, like, Spencer's like, oh, like, what the hell is that, red stuff on it? And he said, like, oh, it's cranberry sauce or whatever. And he's like, smart. And, that girl that he didn't even remember her name ends up walking out, I guess. And at that point, they even ask, like, because they said, who's this chick or whatever? And they're like, oh, this is whatever, and they're like, what or whatever, and meaning he's like, and then when the girl leaves, he's like, oh, thanks guys, and he's like, well, next time remember her name, dude, or something like that. And I was like, damn. And then we get to the point of, like, JJ's talking about the big Halloween party he wants to have, and Spencer's saying, oh, like, because they were saying Asher's gonna go, and then JJ's like, no, Asher sadly spending the weekend or spending this time with Jamie, and of course Spencer's like, good, I'm happy he's not gonna be there. But literally the point of JJ doing this Halloween party, mind you, it's like Clue-themed Halloween. It's a Clue-themed Halloween party. At least that's what it takes. It's a murder mystery Halloween party. And when I think of a murder mystery, I think, of course, of the iconic board game Clue. And I was like, dude, this is a real friend, because we end up finding out he's actually doing this Halloween party, this, like, murder mystery Halloween party, to pretty much show all of his friends that, that they're all that we're falling apart. Our friend group is falling apart, and I'm the only one that seems to notice. So what he does is he does this clever thing. He makes a party so all of them get together, and he projects how the routes that they're going on now means and how they will be successful in life, but at what cost. In the murder mystery, he is also the narrator. He is also the ghost, and he is also the host. And of course, Layla's like, "Of course you are." And I thought that was hilarious when Layla said that. And he went all out. He made notes. He made little mystery parts of the murder mystery game. Like he had little clues and stuff, and he had clues to get them to work together and talk to one another. And of course, right off the bat, before they even get to the party, when Asher says that, Jamie's been out of town or whatever, I've just been staying there, and then JJ's like, come on, man, you have to come to the party or whatever, and he's like, no, whatever, I don't think so, because me and Spencer are actually even really friends, because I feel like it's off and on with him, where it's like, he doesn't want me to be there now or whatever. It's very weird how quickly he could switch that off with me. And, JJ's like, you should still come to the party, because it's going to, because, it's a surprise, I want you to come, and of course, all that stuff. And the thing is that what really gets Asher to go, because, we see this big thing where, JJ needs help, wants Asher and Spencer to help him move the pool table out of the room, so that way he can use that as his space, but wants them to work together and wants them to talk, so that way, he wants to see if Asher's going to be going to the party, and, he just wants to see, wants to start to get them to work together, just to make them work together. And of course, they're not having it, and, because he's not communicating with them, saying where the table should go. He just said move it and wants them to communicate with each other. And of course, Spencer, I feel like in this case, is being kind of petty in the fact that I know he's angry, which he has a right to be, because I think there was a better way for Asher, at least this is my take on it, I think there was a better way for Asher to get information about, about Spencer and Spencer's team of, Golden Athletes, how they, operate in football on their athleticism, not how their emotions and how they are as a person. I don't think so. And I feel like there was a better way to do it. So of course I understand that that Spencer's angry, but in this case, he wants Asher. Spencer knows that JJ wants Asher to go to the party, and Asher and JJ and Spencer also knows that JJ wants Spencer to go to the party, and he wants them to work together and be friends. Just to, just for this party or whatever, you know what I mean? Put your arguments on the side right now. I want you guys all to come to my party. I want you guys to be, be friends for tonight. You guys can still, do your own thing where it's you don't want Asher to be here because you don't want him giving any more information off of your team. I understand that, but it's for his sake, for JJ's sake, where he's working really hard to get you guys to even communicate with each other, I think you guys should, work together just to do it for JJ, because he doesn't ask for much. He's a friend that always, wants them all to stay together, and he's the one that's been noticing that everybody's been, everybody's been, parting. The group's been falling apart. He's the only one that's really noticing that. And of course, they're not talking to each other. Spencer's talking through JJ to ask Asher where the hell he wants to go, where the hell he wants his table to go, or ask Asher what the hell he's doing. And then of course, and tell him that he's holding it too high. And Asher's like, "Oh, JJ, tell Spencer that my level is good, and he's holding it too high." And Spencer's like, "Forget it, I'm leaving. I don't even care or whatever." And he's like, "I'm not even gonna go to the party if he's going." He's like, "I'm not going to the party." And then Spencer's like, "Good, that's exactly what I wanted to hear." And I was saying to myself, damn, guys, come on, especially, I don't think Asher really has a reason to be mad at Spencer, because, again, it's you shouldn't have done that. He should be mad, because, you shouldn't be doing that. But I was Spencer, I was really mad at Spencer, dude, come on, it's for JJ. You guys can, come on, make this work out. You know what I mean? For at least for JJ. I understand you're mad, but make it work for JJ. He doesn't ask for much. But of course he didn't do that. And of course, I felt bad for JJ in this entire episode, because he just wants everybody to be together. He wants everybody to show up to the thing. Coop is the only one that really convinces Asher to even show up to JJ's Halloween party when Coop tells, Asher that it's going to be, it's going to be a murder mystery themed party with, props and outfits and everything. It's going to be out the masses, it's going to be everything. And I was and that's what convinces Asher to go, is Coop. Meaning that also Coop is I thought I lost Spencer, but Spencer came around or whatever. You just have to give him some time. It's not like you have to understand that with Spencer. He's hurting right now, but I mean, he was also hurting after he got shot. That's why we didn't talk. So he'll eventually talk to you again. You just have to get past this game and you guys can talk again. I mean, in a way, it's like Asher doesn't realize what he did was wrong. And I hate this whole spiel that Asher's saying in running of like, oh, you would stab anybody in the back if you were in my shoes. No, Asher, you've been stabbing people in the back from square one, my dude. You gave another school the playbook of their plays and what, I forget what season that was. I think it was like season 2 or something. All because he like couldn't play. I forget what he did. I think he was taking. I forget what he was doing at the time. Why he couldn't play. I think he was doing. I don't think he was doing the steroids at the time. I don't think, or maybe he was, and that's why he chose to do that. I'm not even quite sure. But all I know, or he was angry, so he gave away the plays, and then he was in trouble, and then he took the steroids, and then that's when he wasn't supposed to play, but then he got to play again until he realized whatever. I think it's because, I forget what happened, like he did something and he wasn't able to play or a game or something. I forget what. But he's been doing that shit from square one. And I just thought that was stupid. Like, Spencer wouldn't be doing that, so don't even say he would, because he wouldn't. Spencer's literally his motto is all about helping people, not using people. Is literally all about helping people. So like, and when like put like his something, he wouldn't stab anybody in the back just to get what he would want. That's not who Spencer is. So I was just like, dude, just Asher, like, just stop trying to make it sound like you have you have a reason to be angry at Spencer. It's like, no, he has a reason to be angry at you, but I do think he should, set it outside the door for a night, leave it outside for a night to also, you guys can just do this party for JJ. And of course, in this episode, we see a whole bunch of other things of like the fact of, Coop is very happy. She is thriving in her new job, working for Laura as her secretary, but like, she's learning so much and she hasn't had the time to really do anything else. Like, she hasn't really had the time to hang out with, Patience, but, Patience sees the new side of Coop. And, she's like kind of upset that, Sky gets to, be with that new side of Coop, the new changed Coop, and, Patience doesn't get to be. And we, of course, in this episode, they, by the end of this episode, they end up, sleeping with each other again, and I'm wondering if that means that, I don't know what this means for Sky and Coop, because, I mean, they started going out. I know Sky and Coop weren't really dating, but they went out or whatever, so I don't know what that means, where it means, like, I knew that Coop and Patience was to get back together, so I don't know if that's them trying to say that they're back together now, or maybe hell, like, maybe Patience might say it was a one-night thing, I don't know. I hope that's not the case. I hope this is saying that, because there was a moment where, like, the Patience is like, I hope this wasn't, for Sky, or like, oh, like, it's sad that Sky, that Sky gets to be with this version of you, and, and Coop's like, I didn't do it for Sky, I did it for me, as you said, I wasn't doing anything, meaning, she was right, Patience was right, the fact that Coop wasn't doing anything, and then that's why, that's why the relationship really didn't work out, because how, she was always on Patience 24/7, but it's like, she has her own thing now that she's passionate about, and she hasn't seen that side of Coop, until, and since the beginning of their relationship. So it's kind of like, that was a really nice moment when, that, when Patience ends up kissing Coop, and, I'm kind of thinking, does this mean that they're together? Because I knew that they would get back together at some point. I just thought we would see Sky and Coop a little bit longer before that would happen, but I'm okay with it, because, I mean, once that love is there, it was never gone. Clearly, they never thought they would really just be friends. They always knew that there was something there, and it's at the time where I feel like, you can't put time on, like, when you get back in a relationship with somebody, especially when you leave it off on pretty damn good terms and you still care about that person. It can happen at any time, and it just so happened to happen at the point where, Coop has a job that, she's happy with, and she's passionate about, and she has a new light, a new personality of, always, of being interested in something again that's really making Patience, see that old side of Coop that she fell in love with. So I understand if they want to be like, okay, this wasn't supposed to take very long, because they just love each other so much, and it was just so happened to be at that right time where she found her passion, and saw that, Coop was happy, and she actually wanted to do something that Patience was very happy to see the old side of Coop that she's been wanting to see. So, what I mean? Hell, it's a new side of Coop that, she's even happier to see than the old Coop. So I just thought that was very cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we see Patience and Coop in the future. I don't know how much we'll see in the next episode with them, because next week's episode looks pretty damn crazy on the way they end this episode. But I'm super excited about that, and but you know, but I love in the party of when, you know, they're all trying to figure out, you know, clues about, you know, JJ's, you know, murder and stuff. I love how, like, you know, it's Patience and Coop, and they're working together, and then that's what really makes, you know, Patience so happy, seeing how happy Coop is, and what makes, you know, Patience see that old side of Coop that she's been missing, and, you know, and she was kind of, again, like I said, upset because she thought, you know, Sky got to witness, you know, be with the new improved Coop, and Patience didn't get to be with that Coop that, you know, that wouldn't change for Patience, and she's like, I didn't change for Sky, I changed for me, and I thought that was really good. That really showed that it wasn't Patience's fault. She wanted to change for herself, and I just thought that was really good. But I love how they were working together. It reminded me of the olden days with, you know, Coop and Patience. I loved it. I thought it was very fun and entertaining, and of course, you know, them going on about, like, you know, the saying that they don't talk in 8 years, meaning that was for everybody. That JJ wrote on their notes that, yeah, they were all very successful. Like, Coop was a lawyer. Patience won a Grammy or something, and you know, Layla won a whole bunch of, you know, producer Grammys and things, and or producer awards, and you know, Jordan got it rough. Jordan, likes his where he'll be in 8 years is he's gonna be running a car dealership, and he's gonna be mooching his father's money. I was like, damn. I was like, that's tough. I was like, he kind of like, but JJ kind of like pegged, like, got everybody right on the nose on, you know, where they could be going, and they would all be successful, but also their downside of things, of how, like, you know, things are how they're leading, that you guys, I don't doubt that you guys won't be successful, but at what price of the friendship. And it seems to be that, you know, well, who else? It was for what was that? Spencer is in the NFL now, and Asher is a coach. And Asher asked Spencer to tried to ask Spencer to be on his team, or whatever, like, you know, made him an offer to be on his team, and they haven't talked in 8 years. And that was what they had for everybody's cards, that you didn't talk in 8 years, and for Spencer and Olivia, that their relationship didn't work out. And then Spencer's like, why didn't it work out? And he's like, I would like to think it was a mutual thing between you guys. And, you know, that was really sad. And we've been seeing a lot through Olivia and Spencer of how they have their moments. But like I said, they weather through the storm. Like, you know, what Coop said, we have to weather through the storm. Our friendship, our relationships, we got to weather through the storm. And it's no matter what things get thrown at us, we can always get through the storm together as a family. And, you know, I hated it a lot in this episode with particularly with Olivia. And I don't really know what the hell is going on. Because in this episode, you know, she's getting, you know, she has this conversation, you know, with her boss at the LA Tribune, you know, paper, and, you know, she's waiting for that big, you know, report, that big report that, you know, Olivia is doing about the NIL, you know, about Wade Waters and how NIL can be used for bad things. And, you know, she's saying that she doesn't want to do it because it's affecting her relationship. And of course, like, her boss isn't too happy about it. I think her boss's name is Natalie. Natalie's not too happy about it. She's saying, like, wow, you're really, like, you know, that's the big stories that, you know, can pack a big punch and make a lot of headway. And that's why we're doing, you know, we want to do sponsors. We want to, like, have a lot of ads for this big news report that you have coming out, this big, you know, article. And you know, she's like, I don't know, it's affecting my relationship. And she's like, you're really not going to do this because it's affecting your relationship with your boyfriend. And it's like, don't drag Spencer into this because you're feeling this way. Because Spencer even said that at the end of in this episode, like, when she explains to, you know, and she's even keeping it from Spencer, and Spencer's like, yeah, look, I'm not happy about your report, but I know that, you know, we have to do this because this is your job. This is your future. You have to do it. I might not like it, but it's your future. It's what you need to do. And, you know, she's like, but at the price of knowing that it makes you upset. And it's like, he's like, don't make it. I didn't ask you to drop this thing. I didn't ask you to, you know, make it sound like it was my fault or whatever. Just, you know, it's your decision. Don't use me as the excuse as to why you're not going to do something because you think it's bothering me. Again, like I said, I don't like it, but you need to do this. And it really annoyed me from that standpoint of, like, okay, like, I was just, you know, because it seems to be like Olivia did the same thing when she thought when Spencer said, oh, Wade didn't do it. and she got really annoyed at him, like when he's like, he kind of had an alibi, or Spencer got told he got an alibi, and you kind of think, okay, it couldn't have been him. And it's like, what else do you want him to do? It's like he defends you, and you got angry for even like him even like approaching Wade, because at first you didn't even want him to do that, and he did it, and he said he didn't do it because there was proof that he did, like, or he covered up to the point where like he said he had an alibi. And of course, what else was Spencer supposed to do? He's not the big reporter and all that stuff to be going to do that stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's been very rocky with their relationship, and I've been hating it. But I always like how they always, weather through the storm. Until the end of this episode, when, Olivia wrote a whole another article, because, she wasn't going to give the article to Natalie about the NIL thing. She wasn't even quite sure if she was even going to green light the article and even give it to Natalie to even, to publish. So at that point, she gives Natalie wants her to write a report about, Halloween and what Halloween means to her and whatever. And she was writing about Halloween candy. And then it led into the fact of like, oh, people that, you find out who's really wearing a mask on, who's really wearing a mask on Halloween. That's what Halloween shows me, or that's how I take Halloween. And it's like, what's that supposed to mean about Spencer? Because she even said to Spencer, oh, like when Spencer said, oh, I'm proud of you. And because she said that, oh, this isn't even the article I was even like supposed to give in, so I'm gonna get yelled at because this isn't even the article that Natalie even wanted it originally. And then he's like, good job. And she's like, do you even know what article I just posted? And he's like, like no or whatever, but like, I know you did what I forget what he said, but she made it sound like Spencer has a mask on, and I didn't take that in a good way. Like, what do you mean he has a mask on? Like, what are you talking about? He's always supporting you. He's not the reason that you're like, you're making it sound like he's the reason that you can't post this article. I was like, what the heck is going on right now? I really don't know. Meaning what? Like, you think Spencer is fake? I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, what did Spencer do to make it sound like he's that person? I just don't know. You guys need to, let me know down in the comments below what you guys think, because I'm confused as shit. Because it's like, what are you talking about? Like, whose true face did you see exactly? Like, what? Because Spencer didn't know exactly what you put out there. When I could think Spencer realized at that moment when he said that, oh, like, you should do it. He thought that she sent in that article about Wade, but it seems to be she didn't. She sent in a totally different article about people's true colors and how people wear masks. And when people wear masks, it shows their true. When people have their fake masks on, it shows their true self on Halloween. That people have masks and stuff, and who they're true and who they are, and it shows their true colors. So it's like, I don't really know where she gets that from, and what did Spencer do that makes you want to write something like that? I really don't know, because again, was it the fact that Spencer said he was annoyed at that, and then now he's saying that, oh, you should do it? Like, I'm so confused. Is she saying that he has like two different sides of like, oh, he cares one moment and he doesn't care? I don't know what she means by that, because he's always interested in what she's doing, but she's always the one that's holding back her day-to-day life of her, what she does as a reporter. So it's like, I'm very confused what she's talking about, making it sound like he has a mask on and that like he doesn't pay attention. It seems like that's what she was trying to say. I don't even know, but that was just very weird to me, and I'm curious to see where that goes, because that got cut off when Asher came into the room and was talking about talking and giving JJ the floor, and and pretty much clapping for JJ, and wanting everybody that clap for JJ on him getting everybody together again. Because not gonna lie, I mean, there was a big argument between Spencer and Asher, and how when he gave them a specific a specific mystery to find out for them to work together. He gave Asher and JJ, he gave Asher and Spencer a clue so they would work together. And even Asher's like, okay, JJ even did this for us, so let's like at least try to do this together for the sake of JJ. And of course, they said, you must have, like, he said, Spencer said, oh, you betrayed me or whatever. And he's like, oh, you'd stab anybody, or like you stab, like, oh, he's like, oh, like you betrayed me, and he's like, and you also stabbed me in the back or whatever. And he's like, oh, I stabbed you in the back, and they get into a big spat, saying, oh, you stole my girlfriends, and he's like, they went back and forth, and I am thinking, like, damn, you guys, like, again, I don't think Asher has really any right to be angry in this moment, but it's like, Spencer, damn, bro, it's like, do this for JJ. I understand you're angry. That's what the really takeaway I had about this episode. Is like, dude, I understand you're angry, but it's like, how much more, like, why does it matter anymore? I understand you're angry with him, but like, he can come live back at the place now. He can do that now. Or at least if you don't want him doing that, at least he can at least like go to the party together without having an argument at stake for JJ's sake. Also, what do you expect Asher's going to find out? Because he already gave in his report about you. So why does it matter if Asher goes to the party? I understand you're angry, but again, it's for JJ. It's not for you. It's for JJ. You know what I mean? So put the argument out for JJ's sake and just do this party. He's putting in all this work, all to get everybody to realize that, yeah, I understand that you guys are, wanting to achieve your dreams, but at what cost? We all said to one another that we would all stay together. And when JJ said what I wrote in the time capsule is that a time capsule was I was hoping we could all run this back again. And he's like, I don't think we will. And it really made me upset when like the moment where like JJ said that, oh, you guys all killed me. And he explains why, and he's giving everybody the clues on what the clues were. And he said, the Hobbs and Shaw tickets, the reason I gave them to you guys is because we were all supposed to go see Hobbs and Shaw. You guys didn't show up. Then I saw it again with the second tickets. That was the time you guys said, oh, let's reschedule. You guys didn't show up. And I'm noticing that, I understand that we're all, trying to achieve our dreams, but like at what cost? We're all losing this group. We're all, falling apart. This group is falling apart. This family is falling apart, and I'm the only one that seems to care. And it really annoyed me where, like, Layla's like, oh, are you telling me you literally ripped off the Orient Express? And they were all making fun of him, and I was like, wow, you're really making fun of him. And then Asher had the nerve to say, oh, dude, that's pretty pathetic. I'm like, damn. They were all laughing at him and saying that. I literally was, like, in tears at that point. I was, like, crying. Because you're going to tell me, after they stood him up, JJ still tried. JJ still tried. You know what I mean? He still tried. I probably would have got stood up twice to go to the movies with my friends. I would have dipped. I'd be like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Not true friends. JJ stayed. And JJ made a whole murder mystery Halloween party to make everybody work together. And that's pure genius. And they all laugh in his face. That's a true friend that's willing to make a full-on murder mystery party with props and all these little details and going all out to make sure you guys can all work together and you guys can all stay friends. Like the promise that you guys all made when you guys made the time capsule is that we would all stay friends and we would make this last and we would weather through the storm. JJ is literally this one that's holding everybody together, is the glue that holds this group together. And if he leaves, I mean, I don't even know. Like, this group would just fall apart naturally. I mean, he's the only one that's noticing that the group is falling apart. On top of that, they really don't deserve him as a friend. Like, he's a true friend. Bro is, like, a really true friend. It's crazy to me to just even, like, they don't even acknowledge that they're falling apart. I mean, but it doesn't surprise me because they're all doing their own things and stuff. But it's, like, he's the only one that's noticing. And it upsets me that the writers kind of, like, we barely ever see JJ, and that really annoys me that the writers have nothing for JJ to do besides this episode. So I really enjoyed this episode specifically because it was a JJ episode, and he was really the only one that was trying to get everybody to work through what was going on. Besides, I mean, Coop was trying to trying to tell Asher that, things will work out, just give it some time, come to the party, you know what I mean? Don't let, he'll come around. But it's like, JJ's really the only one that's knowing that the group is literally falling apart. And you know what I mean? Because hell, Coop doesn't really have time for patience. I mean, which is a good excuse. Which is a good excuse because she's doing stuff with Laura. She's like doing like her new passion with Laura, and she's doing it for her community service and doing it for whatever. So it makes sense. And going on with with Patience with her music, Layla with her producing, Olivia with her her writing at the LA Tribune. Spencer and Jordan at Golden Athlete and doing football and a whole bunch of schoolwork and everything like that. But JJ, it seems to me, is the only one that has time to really try to get everybody together, and no one ever else has time to hang with JJ. He's like one of those friends that puts in the effort, and all the other friends don't put in the effort back. And in that case, it's like that's how groups do fall apart usually after high school. Is that when you let your life be busy and you don't try to make time for your friends, the groups fall apart. It's true. I mean, of course, everybody expects everybody to get busy in some point of their life, but you do have to make at least some sort of an effort to try to hang out if you want to keep friendships alive and you want to keep a friendship or keep a friendship group. And I just love how JJ is the only really one that did all this and showed everybody that, look, I don't doubt you guys are all going to be successful, but at what cost? And I loved that message of, like, it made me sad when JJ's like, you know what I mean? Like, like, I'm the only one that cares, you know what I mean? It's sad I'm the only one that cares, but it's true. And if I don't even think we'll even be able to make it, even like in 2 years, like even after this, with how everything is going, you know what I mean? Like, so that was just really sad that he was just saying that and they were making fun of him. But at the end of the day, they all made up, like Asher and Spencer made up, which I was really happy. Again, Patience and Coop got together at the end. Jordan confessed to Layla that he likes her and that Simone wasn't wrong. And then I forget what happened. Oh, and then I was ready to happily, wrap this up with the cherry on top with Olivia and Spencer, but Olivia just came out of nowhere with that curveball saying that, the thing she wrote in was about people having people having masks on and their true faces that really show on Halloween or something, or Halloween shows when people have when people have fake masks on. I forget what she said, but I was like, damn. I'm like, wow. Like, what the hell did Spencer do to make you write some shit like that? I was like, wow. And that really upset me. I was like, what the heck? Like, what? And then of course, we had that funny ass, thing going on with Billy, Grace, and Preach, which was hilarious because they really, of course, since it's Halloween time, they have to go into the whole, scary Halloween vibe, and Billy has to stay overnight because he's getting ready for them, for the board to decide who's going to be the principal. And, he has to stay overnight also because there's somebody that keeps vandalizing the school every year. It's some sort of tradition where people vandalize the school. And they haven't been able to catch this person at all. It's been going on for years, and they've never been able to catch the person. And of course, Billy has to stay, but he doesn't want to stay by himself because apparently there's a rumor going around that, like, I guess a librarian or a nurse or a lunch lady, like, fell down the stairs, and it kept flipping where, like, people thought, like, there was a moment where, like, he's like, oh, like, I remember that, lunch lady fell down the stairs, and then Grace is like, I thought it was a nurse. And then of course when he's like, oh, like, Preach is like, I'm not staying overnight. I heard that people could still hear the librarian, when she fell down the stairs, you can hear her still whistling. And he's like, I thought it was and then Billy's like, I thought it was a lunch lady, or I thought it was I forget what it was, but the story kept changing, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like, I love how they gave us that, and I also love that, like, it was funny because Preach was wearing, like, a Halloween costume with, like, torn sleeves, as like a suit with torn sleeves and glasses. I'm not quite sure who he was trying to be. I just thought it was funny that, he was getting, like, dressed up for Halloween to stay overnight at the school, and Billy was just wearing a normal outfit, but he was only wearing that outfit because he was supposed to take Amina out to go to the haunted hay rides, but of course, he let her, to make it up to her, he let her run around the school trying to make noises, and that's exactly what Billy was hearing all throughout the school, which I thought was hilarious. That, of course, to make it entertaining, Preach was going along with, what promise he made for Amina to make it up that they didn't go on the hay rides, because, again, Billy did ask Preach to stay overnight. And Preach said, and it was funny because Preach literally had to make a negotiation saying, like, oh, like, what do I get if I stay? And Billy's like, I'll give you my mini fridge. I was like, damn. I was like, he needs a reason. Like, they had to literally negotiate. He's like, what's in it for me if I stay? I just thought that was funny. And in the moment that he kept hearing all the noises, even though he knew it was Amina, he just went with it. He's like, oh, hell no. I was like, I loved it so much. I thought it was so funny that they gave us the element. But I'm not gonna lie, this Halloween episode came out of nowhere. I don't know how I feel about it. It took me a minute to be like, this Halloween episode really came out of nowhere. And it feels off because we're in summer now. So it's like we're almost in summer. So it's kind of like, I was like, I don't know if this was the best time to do this episode. But I was like, I guess. I was like, okay, I guess. I just felt like it's kind of late in the game. We're doing a Halloween episode. Shouldn't we done it a lot earlier? Like, didn't the season 4 come on around this, like way before, like, Halloween, so couldn't they have done the episode sooner? I don't know. I mean, I loved the episode either way. I just was so shocked this was a Halloween episode. But I really do love it because the moment where, like, Billy's like saying like, oh, like, since I hired you as like kind of my assistant principal, Grace, the people are now gonna they're gonna want to vote for me to become principal because they know how respected you are around the school, and they know that if I have you as my assistant principal, that knowing that I can do this or whatever, meaning that he was making it sound like they wouldn't pick Billy. The board wouldn't pick Billy unless Grace was on board. And Grace was even saying to Billy that she might take D'Angelo on his offer about going to, I forget where it was, to go to, I don't know, I forget where it was exactly, but I think, I don't even know where it was, but going somewhere, like moving with D'Angelo for his new job. And he's like, you didn't say yes, did you? He's like, she's like, I didn't say no either, I'm still deciding. And it was until the moment where, like, Billy came across the janitor, and the janitor said to Billy, because Billy's explaining, like, oh, I might become the new principal, but only if, Grace stays. And he's like, which is good. And he's like, who's it good for? Is it good for you, or is it good for Grace? And he's explaining that, you just you have to believe that you're going to be a good principal, and you have to, and because if you believe in it, it will happen. And I just thought that was good, meaning that, I was, like, theorizing, like, okay, well, I think Grace will go. And a part of me thinks that maybe, I can't believe I'm forgetting right now. Maybe, Dylan will stay back with, Laura and Billy. That's my theory, is that Grace will go live with D'Angelo out in, I forget where the F, I totally forget right now. And then, of course, Dylan will stay back because, it's his legacy, same as it was Spencer's legacy, of his father's legacy of, graduating from, South Crenshaw and all that. And he wants Dylan to not be, torn from legacy of, graduating from South Crenshaw. And, you know what I mean? I do think he'll stay back, and it's the best of both worlds. Billy gets to look after Dylan while she gets to go live with D'Angelo. I feel like that's a good thing. I just don't know if that will happen or not. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about that, if that will happen. Because I do feel bad that Dylan has to leave. But I do feel bad that it's like, Grace made sacrifices for them. She deserves to be happy. And even Billy said that, love is very hard to find. Especially, Grace, he said, Gracie, you remind me of how you used to be when you were dating Corey, like how happy you were. And love is very hard just to come by these days. And I do think you should go. And he's like, don't worry about me, what the board says. I know I got this. You should just do it. And I don't even know if she told Dylan yet. I don't even know if she told Spencer yet. I don't know how they're going to take it. But, I mean, she did make sacrifices. So I do think, the best of both worlds is she goes, but Dylan stays with Billy. I don't know if they'll do that. But, I feel bad for Dylan. He has to leave his friends. And he's just finding out who he really is. Like, he's just finding out, like, who he wants to be in life. With, him, helping Spencer, taking Dylan's, artwork of, what was it? What was it? What was it? South. It was like, what was it? Crenshaw? No, was it like? I forget what it was. The hero name that Dylan made, but that like his. I forget really what it was, but like when Spencer, like he's finally with his artwork getting out there through Spencer, so it's like he's found his his footing. And I just feel bad that he'll have to leave. And you know what I mean? Like, not graduate through South Crenshaw and have to leave and without staying. That's why I think he'll stay with Billy and Laura and she'll go. But we'll just have to wait and see how that will all go. But this weirdly, Olivia kept getting calls throughout this episode, which I thought was very weird. I didn't know if that was just it was maybe JJ and all them like doing a whole part of like the murder mystery thing. But it turns out I think it is Wade Waters, and the fact that he knows this article is coming out and he's not like quite done messing with Olivia and trying to take down Olivia with him. Hence the whole how we end this episode off the weird moment between Olivia and Spencer, and Olivia saying that to Spencer, and then of course Asher comes in and says, let's give a round of applause to JJ for making us realize that that we've been idiots, and and they were also pretty much saying sorry to JJ and saying we're sorry that we kind of ruined this and stuff, and thank you for making us realize this. And the SWAT just comes through the door, and at that point we don't even know what the hell is going on. And that's why it makes me feel like that Wade is doing this bullshit, because he said in next week's previous episode, which will be the last episode of All American, which is next week, I think, he said to Olivia, if I get, if I go down in in flames, I'm going to be bringing people with me, which makes me feel like he's totally. And also, they could have died if someone would have did something wrong. Someone could have died just with SWAT just jumping through in there, like jumping in the house and making everybody get on the ground. Like, someone could have died all because of Wade Waters' prank. And I do think it was Wade. That's the only valid answer. I feel like it probably was Wade. Because he's so angry about Olivia and angry pretty much at everybody. Angry at Spencer for pretty much getting him up against the wall, even though he said, Spencer, you know what I mean, it wasn't me or whatever. He's angry at Jordan from saying that Jordan's trying to take his spot through Olivia, having Olivia come after him, mad at Olivia. So in all seriousness, it makes sense that he was willing to literally to pull these pranks on Olivia to get her scared, and also sends in SWAT. I don't even know what the hell they even came in there looking for, why they even got that call. But that's very scary in the fact of he's really going through crazy ass methods just to scare Olivia, and pretty much saying, if I'm going down, everybody's coming down with me. And I'm just excited to see what we're going to be getting in next week's episode, because a lot of things are going to be going down in next week's episode, because again, it is the finale, the season finale. So I'm excited. I cannot wait. But guys, let me know down in the comments below, what are your theories for the last episode of All American next week? Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Were you guys thrown off about this whole, Halloween episode like I was? I'm really curious to know down in the comments below what you guys have to say. Also, I'm curious to know, do you guys think we'll get that matchup with, Coach Montez and Asher, that big game between UCLA and Golden Athlete? Do you guys think we'll get that match in next week's episode? I feel like probably not, because we didn't really get any, any football sneak peeks in next week's finale episode. So probably not. That's at least what I'm thinking. We'll probably get it maybe next year in season 5. I don't know. It would be cool if we got it, and it would be a cool way to end off the next season. But I feel like oh yeah, we are. What am I talking about? There was I think we saw them in their uniform, and I think it was the big game. And then we see that big fight in the locker room. What am I talking about? It just kicked into my brain. I think we actually are getting that matchup in next week's episode, which will be really cool. I do think, again, that I don't know. I feel like, in a way, the whole Asher and Spencer thing, I felt like that was something that, again, if it would have it would have never have lasted forever. This Spencer saying, okay, because Spencer said, you go over there. I don't want you giving any more personal information about me. So you go over there until the game is done, and of course, we'll be good. Asher's kind of the one that kind of made it into a bigger thing. But I do think Spencer, being the idiot in today's episode, and the fact how he didn't want Asher to go to the party when, again, it's JJ's party, and he wants both of you guys to be there. So leave the drama out of the outside and just do this party. Because at the end of the day, he can't get any more information off you anyways, and at the end of the day, he is following your wishes on the fact he's living at Jamie's place until after this whole thing is over. But I don't think Asher should have turned into a thing were we ever really friends? Because that's nothing that Spencer was ever questioning. And he said at the end of this episode, family argues all the time. Never forget that. You know what I mean? That we're family and we'll be family. Families argue. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like, in a way, Spencer never said, that they weren't actually, friends or whatever. That was kind of all of something that came up in Asher said, all because Spencer had a reason to be angry at Asher, and Asher really didn't really have a reason to be angry at Spencer. I feel like, in a way, but I do think that, again, Spencer should not have made it into a bigger thing, saying, oh, I'm not going to go to the party if Asher goes to the party, when it's not for just any other person, where you could say some stuff like that. It's for your friend JJ. He wants you guys both to be there. So leave the drama out of there, and then go to the party and just be friends and have a good time. Because at the end of the day, Spencer, what more information could Asher get on a report that he already sent in? But guys, yet again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I'd love to have you guys here, a part of the fam, a part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And guys, yet again, we just hit 500. Actually, we're actually beyond 500, which is amazing. I love to see this family growing. Right now, we're at 5. I want to say 513, 514. And guys, we are almost to 600 subscribers. That is my new goal, to get to 600 before the end of June. I know we can do it to get 600 before the end of June. And guys, my initial goal, which I totally think we can achieve this, for how much the channel is thriving and how much, you know, how much the channel is growing. Like, I do think we can get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year. And if we could do that, guys, I will be so happy. Like, at that moment, I will know that all this is worth it. Like, you know what I mean? That I will know that all this, you know, all this hard work and dedication and everything is worth it. I know it each and every day when this family grows, but that is a big, big goal. That once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll know that me putting in my blood, sweat, and tears into this channel, it'll be worth it. You know what I mean? Like, that I will know at that moment that, you know, I'm almost to my goal of you know, making this channel like one of the biggest channels on YouTube. That is my goal, to make this channel one of the biggest channels on YouTube, and to show people that you can follow your dreams, and don't let anybody else tell you you can't. But guys, that was a video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.